palm tree and the sauna to California. But they didn't have to import this beautiful and rugged Monterey and Carmel coastline that was always here. The fishing? Well, it's not that good anymore, and the fishing boats are just a reminder of John Steinbeck's Cannery Row. The surfers now play where the sardines once supported the fishing industry. But now there's a new industry here in California. It's called horses. California is rapidly becoming the nation's leader in just the sheer number of horses, major shows and events, and is attracting the top stallions of all the breeds. There's a new import in California, a stallion that has the majestic presence to match this very spectacular coastline. His name, Prince Plotted. This is the Spalding Stallion Station, and it's the home of Prince Plotted, the legend in his own time, and an Appaloosa that has sired 22 national and world champions, and that's more than any other stallion in any other breed. And I'm with the owners, Dave and Joan Spalding. And Dave, did you ever think that you'd own a horse like Prince Plotted?
Well, Leo, it's a dream that came true.
You brought the Prince to the West Coast, and that's going to give a lot of breeders an opportunity to come and visit the Prince. And what are your plans?
Well, Leo, as you know, Prince Plotted is 20 years old. We feel strongly that he'll last another 10 years. We plan to leave an open book on him for maybe the next 2-3 years.
Now, by an open book?
Well, we'll be breeding to outside mares for the next 2 or 3 years. And at that time, we plan on closing the book, breeding only to our own mares or qualified mares such as world champion producer mares.
Joan, you're a lady that looks out your kitchen window here at the ranch every morning, and you get to see a legend, Prince Plotted. What's he like?
Well, I think he's the most gentle horse. I don't think you could ever find a stallion that has this disposition. He is gentle enough that I could put an 8-year-old on him.
Do you get many cards and letters from people that see the Prince in the magazines and the different posters and the shows?
Oh, we've had a lot of people sending us letters of congratulations.
Congratulations that you purchased the Prince.
And he's nearby.
And brought him to California.
And we also had a package sent by one of his children. She had heard about all the rain we were having, so she sent her dad a little pink inner tube so he could be floating, so the rain wouldn't get to it.
Do you know there are over 8 million horses in the United States? Over 71,000 horse shows every year, attended by 24.5 million people. A man that knows full well the magnitude of the horse industry is Californian Grant Gibbs, one of the nation's top horse trainers. Grant, you've been a horse trainer for many years. You've seen the horse industry really grow a lot.
Right, it's going in leaps and bounds. There's many people getting into this industry and enjoying their ownership.
It sure is. The magnitude of the horse business, for instance, you go to how many shows in a year?
Well, Leo, we travel all over the nation, and we'll get to approximately 50 horse shows a year.
And as a successful trainer, you can take your pick of horses to train. What do you look for when you select a horse to train?
Well, one of the first things that we look for, Leo, is we like the eye appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what we're going to use this horse for, if it's a halter horse, we're definitely looking at the conformation, the eye appeal of the horse. If we're looking for a performance horse, then we're looking for an athletic horse that can go do that particular job.
Horses are intelligent, more intelligent than people think.
Way more than what people give them credit for, definitely.
There's a lot of young people in the horse business, and you see a lot of them and work with a lot of them.
Yeah, Leo, just like these two girls here are grooming for me here now. And these young people, they get into this, they like the program, they like the horses, they like the activity that's around them.
You not only train horses, but you do train the people that exhibit them. And I know when I go to the shows and I see an exhibitor, I marvel, I'm amazed at the professionalism. And that's a lot of pressure out there in that arena. What does it take to be a good exhibitor?
Well, Leo, the first thing, they have to have the incentive and the drive. They have to have the feeling that they want to go out and do something and have accomplished something. And in order to do this, they have to put in the time and the effort. And again, I say, they have to have the desire.
Well, a lot of them do, and especially the ones that you train, because they're winners. And you know, around the ranch, I couldn't help noticing the many Appaloosas that you have here. You must train quite a few of them. What do you like about the Appaloosas?
Well, Leo, the Appaloosa horses is a very popular breed. And the things about the Appaloosa horses, we like the coloring naturally. The other thing that we like the enthusiasm that when we take our Appaloosa horses, other people like them also. They're very trainable, very versatile horses. The horses not only can do one event, they can do numerous events and do it day after day.
And of course, they're very beautiful to see.
Definitely. One of the greatest things that I like about the Appaloosa horses, I've had hundreds of them. I don't think I've ever had any two alike.
What do you like the best about being a trainer?
Well, one of the main things, of course, is being self-employed. Secondly, I like to have the chance to accomplish and achieve my own thing. There's so many rewarding things that become from this, that you're helping other people do things, and they also enjoy the association.
One invention that I've never seen one before, you have a steer, but he doesn't look like a steer. What does he do?
Well, this deer here is actually made of cloth and canvas and a little padding, and he's a simulated cow, and he runs on cables with pulleys. And what we use this for is for cutting. Now,
what do you mean by cutting?
Cutting is where a horse will go into a herd of cattle, pick one out and hold it back from the herd to drive into another pen, or to seemingly keep away from the other herd for doctoring, or whatever the case may be. So in order to do this, you have to teach a horse how to read this cow's mind.
Cut a cow or calf out of a herd.
Right,
That's
and
where the
to
word came
hold
from.
it
Right.
in place, or put it into another place. So we started this little device here simply on our young horses for the motion or the movement, or in cow sense we say horse to read a cow, to know what the cow's going to do before he does it, so he positions himself to block the forward motion of the cow.
Is it easier to train a horse or an exhibitor using your dummy steer than instead of a real cow?
Definitely. The biggest advantage that we find is this cow here is controlled. We can move this cow at any speed, any direction we want to move it. So with a young horse, we don't get the horse in over his head. The horse builds confidence and learns how to read this animal.
But Grant is also a trainer of people. He teaches horses and riders to become teams, and in the ring, competition on the trail course builds pressure. His students face everything that they will see together: bridges that teeter, logs, creeks, mud holes, and impossible turns. But by building confidence for both horse and rider, Grant shows that what was once impossible is now achievable. There's an old saying that says, training makes perfect, and a guy that is living proof of that, because he does it all, Grant Gibbs. California has its Prince plaudit, but you can't talk about horses without talking about the Lone Star State. I'm standing smack dab in the horse country, USA. I'm at Aubrey, Texas, about 40 miles from Dallas. Population is 721, but they've got some residents here that do not make the census count, but they're probably the most famous and the most important. And of course, DKG Appaloosas, home of Roman Strawman, an Appaloosa stallion that has sired more national and world champions than any other stallion in the 80s. And with me here is the owner of DKG Appaloosas, Pee Wee Griffin. Pee Wee, how are you?
Hi, Leo. How are you?
DKG Appaloosas. Tell me about this fine spread you have here.
Well, we have approximately 110 acres here. We've got it divided into approximately 9 or 10 pastures. We feel it's one of the safest ranches as far as all the horses are concerned.
Do you mind if we all could come in and take a look at DKG Appaloosas?
I'd be glad to show it to you. Come on, cowboy.
Roman Strawman, a horse. Roman Strawman, a horse that rivaled Caesar for success. As a 2-year-old racehorse, he was the breed's fastest. He entered the show ring 16 times and never lost. As a national and world champion, DKG Appaloosa decided it was time to share his qualities with the world and built their breeding program around him. Since then, he's sired 21 world and national champions, and he's only 12 years old. I know a lot of you have stayed in motels, but I'll bet you your accommodations are not as nice as the ones here at the Mare Motel. The gentleman responsible for it is with me, Bob Gear. Bob, why a Mare Motel?
Well, like the name states, these horses are in here for a short period of time, and our job is to get these mares bred as quick as possible and get them ready to move out. They could be able to have foals as quick as after the first of the year as they possibly can.
Well, I understand that, but what I don't understand, Bob, why all of these lights in broad daylight?
Well, the idea of these lights is to make these mares cycle. What we're doing is kind of an artificial kind of a deal here. We're trying to make these mares think that it's April and May by giving them 16 hours of daylight instead of being in the middle of wintertime. When these mares are palpate and check, when they are ready to foal, there is somebody with him 24 hours a day until after that mare is foaled, after the baby hits the ground. She has all her inoculations just like you would in a regular hospital.
That's tremendous. And of course, if Linda Straw over here is any indication, you do a heck of a job. And that's Bob Gear. And now all of you have been in a Mare Motel. Someone that really enjoys Appaloosas is Miss Appaloosa of 1982, Jill Spencer of East Windsor, Connecticut. Hi.
Hello, Leo. How are you?
Just fine. How did you get started in Appaloosas, Jill?
Well, when I was 8 years old, I was given an Appaloosa as a 4-H project. And then when I was about 12 years old, my parents knew that my interest and my love had grown enough, and they purchased my first Appaloosa.
Why are Appaloosas special to you?
Well, Leo, they're a classic horse. Not only do they share a colorful spot in the American history, but they're a progressive and very popular breed today.
Well, you've been to a lot of arenas and a lot of shows during your reign as Miss Appaloosa, I bet. How are the Appaloosa people?
They're wonderful, Leo. Wherever I've gone across the country, I've been welcomed with open arms, and it's like one family. It really is, and they make me feel very welcome.
Horsewomen. I'll never understand them. They would rather ride a national and world champion like Straw Boots than talk to me. The driving force behind the Appaloosa horse industry is a soft-spoken man from Idaho, Eric Edmondson, the executive secretary of the Breed Association. Keeping account of horses has got to be a tremendous task. Now, each horse breed has an association. What's the primary purpose?
The primary purpose of a horse breed association is to maintain pedigree records on the horses involved in that breed. The Appaloosa Horse Club, since 1938, has maintained pedigree records on over 400,000 horses.
That's a lot of horses, 400,000. Of course, each year, you're a fast-growing industry. How many do you register each year?
In excess of 20,000, and it keeps increasing all the time.
Now, if I were an Appaloosa owner and breeder, what could you do for me as my Appaloosa Horse Association?
Well, in addition to maintaining the pedigree records on your horse, we maintain competitive records of all types, showing and racing. And particularly in the showing area, we have in national and world championship shows and sanction over 700 local and regional shows every year.
That's a tremendous amount of shows. I didn't know it was that large, but I can see why. The Appaloosas are beautiful horses, and there's a lot of people getting into it. Eric, the Appaloosa Horse Club is involved in some very, very exciting projects. Can you tell me about it?
The thing we're most excited about, Leo, is $500,000 we put up as an incentive award to owners to take their Appaloosas out into open competition against other breeds.
$500,000.
A major example of this is $150,000 we've put up for the first Appaloosa that wins the National Cutting Horse Association's Open Cutting Finals, which is a contest for all ages and all comers.
I've always, in growing up, loved Appaloosa, and I thought all Appaloosas had spots, and that's what made it an Appaloosa. But that's not true, because there's solid Appaloosas also.
That's right. The Board of Directors of the Appaloosa Horse Club has allowed Appaloosas that do not have a coat pattern to participate in competition. And it's a very historic decision for us. And what it boils down to is that the Appaloosa is a breed of horses rather than a color.
Well, how did that decision set with all the members in the Appaloosa Horse Club?
Well, my male's been running about 87% positive.
So you get a few cards in there.
Yes, I do.
You know, Eric, kids and horses go really well together, and little Angela seems to be enjoying her ride today. Good morning. Do you like being on that horse?
Yeah.
It seems like you sure do, and I guess you see a lot of kids when you travel around the country.
Yes, I'm fortunate enough to get around to a lot of horse shows and horse events, and we find that horses are real family affairs, and kids are really enjoying it.
Now, the association, the Appaloosa Association, and I guess all the other horse breed associations, do they have programs for the youth?
Yes, we have an Appaloosa Youth Association, which is dedicated to promoting youth and Appaloosas, and they have their own competitions, and we maintain records for them as we do for the open competitions.
That's tremendous. So they compete, they have shows, and they go to the national and the world just like the grown-ups.
That's correct.
That's tremendous. You know, I envy you, man, in your job, getting to see beautiful Appaloosas like this and working with them all the time, but also the fine people that get associated with horses all through the industry.
Well, we like to think that the people are what makes the Appaloosa industry the best of all.
Good luck to you
Thank
and
you.
the Appaloosa Horse Club.
Thanks.
You know something? I swear I've seen that horse somewhere before. Running a horse breeding business is a full-time job, and one who does it well is Tom Simmons of Simmons Kennedy Ranch in Central California.
Hello, Simmons Kennedy. Hello, Jack. How you doing? Hey, you bet. Boy, I'll tell you what, we've been busy as a three-legged cat. Well, I'll tell you, we've got most of our own mares out in the pasture now, but the mare motel's filling up, but I'll tell you what, we sure got a little room left for you anyway. Hey, good talking to you, and say hi to Carol for me, all right? Okay, partner. See you later now. Bye-bye.
Tom runs the ranch, but Goer is the star. When Tom first saw Goer, there was no doubt in his mind that they were going to form a partnership.
I was standing there, and all of a sudden Goer ran across the pasture. And he had that pretty head and the big eye and that presence. And when I saw that horse, that was it. I knew I had to own him.
If I had a horse like Goer, I would probably think about getting in the horse business. And how do people get in the horse business?
Well, you know, there's a lot of different ways. A lot of the people we deal with, it seems to start with the children. You know, the husband and the wife live in town, and their daughter most generally wants to get a horse to go ride. And so she goes off to the horse shows, and pretty soon the father is thinking, well, gosh, maybe I better go see how she's doing. So he goes to the horse shows, and you know the next thing
He gets caught up in it.
he does. I'll tell you what, you see these fathers up there rooting for their daughters and their sons and
Right.
out in all the performance deals. Pretty soon he's kind of looking for a way that he can kind of contribute, kind of do something, and the next thing he's trading in the car for a pickup truck, and he's buying him a horse trailer.
Tom, you've gone beyond that. Raising horses has become a way of life.
The great thing about the horse business is that everybody's involved. I'm here at the ranch all day. My wife's involved. She does our bookkeeping and billing and all the record keeping. My boys work here after school and clean stalls and whatever work has to be done. And it's just kind of a whole new way of life. It's more than a job. It's just a fun way of doing things.
And you could have gone into any horse breed that you wanted to, and you chose Appaloosas. Why?
Well, it's kind of interesting because in the beginning, when you're just learning about horses, and you know, you don't really know a whole lot, but it's the unusual color patterns that really attract you to the Appaloosa. You never see two alike. Every time you breed a mare, it's just kind of like hunting Easter eggs. You know, it's a new deal every time, and that part it really keeps a lot of people in this business, and really keeps us interesting because every foal you have is totally unique.
Well, the Appaloosa breed is growing. There's over 400,000 Appaloosas that are registered now. What's the future of the Appaloosa as a breed, in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, of course, the breed's been great to me. I enjoy it. I enjoy the people in it. But the breed as a whole is really on the move, Leo. If I could advise somebody today to get involved in a breed association, I can honestly say the Appaloosa Horse Club and the Appaloosa Horse is at this point in time on the fastest gaining move it's been in from the history, the initial start of the breed. We have a set of directors, we have organization now in our club where they're putting the promotion, they're putting the drive behind the Appaloosas, and today if a guy wants to invest some money and be looking for a return on it in a year or 18 months down the road, I can't think of a better place to put your money than today in the Appaloosa Horse.
And that brings up a question, being successful in the horse business, what other advice would you give someone that's going to start, into the horse business? What would be the one thing he should look for?
Well, that's kind of an easy question because I've answered that question a number of times. People come to us and some of them have been in the horse business a long time and some are just brand new at it. But they say, Tom, what can we do? What's the magic formula? And there's no easy answer, but if you can answer that in one word, it's quality. You can't replace, there is no substitute for quality. So my advice to you or to anyone, to buy the very best horse you can afford. If you're looking for a horse for your child, don't sacrifice a few dollars to get one that's not fitted for your child. Try to find the very best one that's going to suit your son or daughter. So quality there's no substitute for quality. We find people year after year, they come to the ranch, they buy horses, and maybe one year they have $1,500 or $2,000 to spend, and they buy the very best horse they can for that amount of money. And they have a little fun with it, and they save, and they come back the next year, and they've sold that horse, and hopefully at a profit, they've added a little bit to it, and we bought a better horse for them. And eventually, pretty soon, these horses are working for you, and they're making you money instead of you out there doing them extra jobs to pay for the horses.
Quality. It's become a standard. Quality has become Goer, Simmons Kennedy, and a fellow by the name of Tom Simmons in the horse business is lucky to have him. settlers who first brought the spotted horse to these shores, to the cowboys and Indians who discovered its versatility, to today's breeders who are expanding its future, acceptance of the Appaloosa horse is universal. These are just some of the stars and the stories in the Appaloosa breed. There are many more in the performance and cattle events and Appaloosa racing, which is growing tremendously in popularity and purses. Chrome is defined as the one thing that establishes the classic look. The Appaloosa is the one horse breed that nature destined to be as special and classic as the people that own them. Why? Because the Appaloosa truly is the horse that makes the difference. It's the horse with all the chrome.